Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Elias and welcome back to Stoneblock. In the last episode, we were working on this whole system, which is making HDPE pellets from, water and biofuel. Pretty much. That's all it is. And what we used for that was to make plastic HDPE sheets because that was one of the ingredients for making the Transmutation Table. So with that done, we just need one more ingredient, and that is Pixie Dust. Now, Pixie Dust is a Botania thing, so we're going to have to dive deep into Botania today. But before we do, we got something to do. So we're going to drop down here, and we're going to take 1, 2, and 3 of these null modifiers, and we're going to take them back up here because we've been collecting the next tier of crystals, and the next tier of crystals allows us to upgrade these into accuracy modifiers. So it's going to be pretty expensive with diamond blocks and mica plus the lanzolite and palladium crystals, which is the next one. But it's going to get us 3 accuracy modifiers. And what the modifiers do is, well, basically we have a crystal lens on here, which is doing awesome. It's giving us more crystals and all that fun stuff. But with these, this lens is going to be a little bit more effective. So basically, every time that the Void Ore Miner tries to collect an item, it'll be more likely that it will be something that the crystal lens specifically gives us. So it's just basically higher chances for the crystals. So what that means is, well, we're going to have more crystals. It's going to be good, and we're going to be able to upgrade things a little bit faster. So the plan for today is let's just jump into Botania and do a really quick crash course. We're not going to, this isn't like a, by no means a full like explanation. We're going to cheat. And by cheating, I mean we have been collecting these things called Black Lotuses and Blacker Lotuses. These specifically are awesome. So these will give us a lot of what we need without having to wait a long time. So do we have, I know we have plenty of Lexica Botanias. And the last thing we're going to need, at least for right now, is a bunch of Ender Pearls. So that is what the Pixie Dust is, what the Pixie Dust actually is. It's just mana pearls, which do we have any mana pearls? We might actually. Oh yeah, we have plenty of mana pearls. Let's just use those. And we're going to just use a stack. I think that's enough for now. But we need to do some stuff. So if we want to get Pixie Dust requires Elven Trade. Now, Elven Trade is not that hard to get to if you are cheating. So the other way we cheat is because we have Terrasteel. We have a lot of Terrasteel. Terrasteel is not easy to get. If we look at the recipe for it, it doesn't even show on here, but it is in the Lexica Botania. So let's see, mana manipulation, it's probably in here. No. What's it gonna be? Basics? Yeah, Terrasteel. So let's start at the beginning. In order to get started in Botania, we're gonna need something called the Pure Daisy. The Pure Daisy is, well, just a flower. We're going to need some flower petals, which we can get from our Mystical Flower Essence, which I feel like we have more than 99, but maybe we don't. Let's see, where would it be? It's right in front of me. No, that's about 99. I mean, I think that was exactly 99. So, yeah, that's going to have to deal. So, Mystical White Flower Petals, you can get them from Mystical White Flowers, which in a normal world would kind of spawn out in, well, wherever. You could also get them from making, what is it called? Fluoro Fertilizer, which is actually pretty easy to make. Fluoro Fertilizer. It is just some dyes with bone meal. Let's make one of these, and I can kind of show off a little bit. Do I have any grass anywhere? I have a ton of grass if I just go out here. So this is just kind of demonstration. We also have the mystical flower essence, which growing those allows us to make pretty much any of the flower stuff. And I'm surprised that we don't see the mystical flowers out here, but I don't think they're programmed to spawn. But basically, you can use this and you'll get some mystical flowers. Yellow, red. We're going to take the purple one because we're going to need it in a little while. And let's do purple and green. Why not? Something we're going to need. So, yeah, for the most part, we're just going to be using the essence because we have it. And for the most part, to get started with Botania, you just need white flower petals. They are the most important. So we can make some white flowers. And can I turn these into petals? I can. So we're going to need 2 sets of petals for those. And we're also going to want some other petals. And so the next thing we need to do is we need to make the actual pure daisy. Now this is really, really simple. First of all, we're going to need a bucket. Bucket of water is nice. And we're going to need a petal apothecary. So this is pretty straightforward to make. Don't use my white petal, use a green one. We just need some slabs and some stone. That's literally it. So the petal apothecary is really easy to use. All you have to do is place it down. And because we're only going to be making like 2 flowers, I'm just going to place it down. Actually, we'll go ahead and put it up here next to the water just to make it a little bit nice. So it's a nice, pretty thing. And all you have to do is fill it with water. Throw your recipe in, which for our case is 4 white petals. And they float. What? I somehow got another petal. Not entirely sure how that happened. But it tells you on the screen, if you want to make the recipe, all you have to do is add a seed. And there we go. We have a pure daisy. Now, what do we do with the pure daisy? Well, we need to get a piece of dirt, first of all, for it to stand on. And then we are going to need, more than anything, some wood and stone. So this is something that's going to take a little bit of time and effort. And we're going to do Botania stuff for now, just right up here. Actually, let's put this on the ground. So the pure daisy gets placed down, and we're going to make some stone. We're going to just put stone around it. And what it will do is, over the course of about a minute, it will turn the stone into living stone, which is the next thing we kind of need. Now, like I said, Terrasteel was kind of the hard part of all of this. For the most part, what we need is just a little bit of mana, which is the power source of Botania, and the Terrasteel and some living wood and some living rock. Both of those are really easy to get, and this is all you have to do. One thing to kind of note, Botania is not a magical mod. It is magical in themes, but in terms of like how it works, it is more akin to like an industry mod than anything else. I don't know that we have really any other magical mods that we've used. There it just went. I heard it. So this is the living stone, and we can just go ahead and break that. We're going to need that here in a moment. And then the living wood is the same thing, just logs around. And we're going to need a little bit of this. But yeah, so there are other magical mods like Thaumcraft or Astral Sorcery. Botania is very mechanical-esque in the way it works. And its mechanics. It's very mechanical-esque. So with the living rock, we're going to make a mana pool. So the mana pool is kind of the crucial thing. We're going to need a couple more of these, so we're going to have to do more of this. And we're going to need a little bit of space. So right here, I think what I want to do is just dig out a little bit of an area. And we'll keep it like that for now. I don't have any torches on me. This should change in just a moment. But we're going to need 2 mana pools. And we're going to need a bunch of living wood. So we're going to need, what? 2 more of those. And you can mix and match. The Pure Daisy also does a few other things. If we look at the Pure Daisy, you can also use it to make netherrack into cobblestone, soul sand into sand, ice into packed ice, blaze, used to be called blaze lamps, blaze mesh, which is just a bunch of blaze rods, into obsidian, and then water into snow. So there's a bunch of different recipes that you can use, but the only one we care about is the living rock and living wood. So yeah, normally what we'd have to do next, well, what we do need to do next is make mana. And in order to make mana, we need to make special flowers that produce mana. And this is where things get a little, we get to skip around. So probably the easiest one to make is the Endo Flame. It is a very simple flower. We're going to need red, brown, and light gray. Which, let's actually see if we have them. Nope. So red. Yeah, so we're going to need red, brown, and light gray. And it's the same way we just made the Pure Daisy. Ooh, you can make brown. Let's see, we're going to need red. Which there was a red one in the mining dimension, but whatever. And light gray. Okay, so we just need 1 of these, 2 of these, and 1 of those. So we put those away. The other thing we're also going to need is called a living wand, or wand of the forest, I think is actually what it's called. But we'll get to that in a second. So yeah, I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here, but we need to get some more seeds. You know, there's more seeds upstairs. Let's do it that way. And yeah, so basically the living wood and the living rock does great things, but you can't do anything like special without mana. So we throw those in there, and that in there, and the seeds, and we'll get the Endo Flame. Now, the Endo Flame is a flower that produces mana. And it does that by, well, taking anything that is combustible. So anything that can burn. Blaze rods might be the best, just because we have a lot of them. And we're going to need a piece of dirt. You got to always put them on dirt. They are flowers after all. And then we're going to need one more thing. So the flower will make the mana, but we can't just store the mana anywhere. We have to store it in the mana pool. But to get the mana from the Endo Flame to the mana pool, we're going to need a mana spreader. And we're only going to make the basic tier. It's really easy. Light gray, yeah, that works. It's just living wood, gold, and the petal. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken anyways, does the petal actually affect anything? No. Okay, so we're going to need more living wood for sure. And we're going to make another mana pool. Now here is the issue with all of this. So I'm going to start setting up for what we need for the actual portal. The Elven portal, aka the Portal Alfheim. We'll get to all that soon enough. We're going to visualize it. And okay, so we're going to need to clear out a little bit more room. What I actually want to do is I want to put that down one. Directly below, must be laid out in 11 by around the... Okay. So we're actually not going to want to put that down. We're going to want to make everything else so we're going to want to do something like this. And this should work well enough. Okay. So we can put the mana pools like here and here. And that should work just fine. We're going to get rid of that torch. Is anything... It is dark. Can we just put a piece of glowstone there? That should be fine. So let's go downstairs and do that. So we're going to want glowstone. Just because why not? It'll look nice. It'll look nicer. Also, that will stay there until I get rid of it or until it's built. I know how it's built, so it's just was a matter of making sure the size. So let's put that there. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so it's something like that. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to get mana into these pools. And this is the part that is really, really annoying and frustrating. So we're just going to break this. We're going to put the dirt down. We're going to put our Endo Flame. And we need to make one more thing. And that thing is... we need to make the Wand of the Forest. So the Wand of the Forest is basically your tool. And the neat thing is it takes 3 separate... We can actually just make it right here. It takes 3 separate... no, it just takes 2. Okay, so it takes 2 separate petals to make. And you can use whatever colors you want. And it actually changes what colors they are. So you get really nice colors sometimes. So it's always got a green leaf on the right side, but the top and the left side change based on what colors you use. So we just need to get some living wood twigs. We need 3 of these, and they are fairly expensive. And then we can just do, we could do purple, purple, we could do purple and white. I think we're gonna do purple and white. Why not? But this is basically your like your wrench, your Yellow wrench, your crescent hammer, what have you. It's just your basic tool. So the last thing we need to do is put the mana spreader next to the Endo Flame, and we're going to point this at the mana pool. And we're going to bind this to the mana spreader. So the Endo Flame knows about the mana spreader. It's going to send its mana that it produces once we throw some blaze rods down. And it's only going to burn 1 at a time. And it's going to send it to the mana spreader. And it's going to fill up. And as you can see the green line. And then once it gets enough, it shoots some mana in here. That's it. And we're just going to do that a little bit to both. Now, here is the thing. And this is why we're completely cheating this. We would have needed to do this a long, long time ago if we had to play with Botania just kind of normally. But because of the essence and the chickens specifically, the chickens break this. So these 3 chickens, specifically the Terrasteel chicken, allows us to skip making Terrasteel. The Black Lotuses and the Blacker Lotuses allow us to skip making mana. Now, both of those things are super crucial because mana production is incredibly slow unless you have massive farms or you make more complex flowers. There are more complex flowers that produce mana a little bit easier. One of my favorite we don't actually have access to until we make the Portal to Alfheim. There is like a second phase of Botania. And basically you have to throw your book in. We'll probably still do that just for the fun of it. But there is a flower that allows you to use cakes as mana fuel, and those are probably the easiest ones. They produce quite a bit. The Gorgomillis is another flower that will take food and use that to make mana. Munchdew uses leaves. Rosa Arcana is another one that is kind of good. It takes experience orbs and turns it into well, mana. Now, there is a lot that we're skipping. We're not going to be touching the Runic Altar, which is another crafting station. There's a lot to Botania that we're just kind of skipping over because I don't feel like doing it. Now, for what we need to do, and for the record, the reason why we can skip all that is because these lotuses make mana. And the blacker lotuses make a good bit of mana. And so we can actually see how full these are. So that is at about a fourth full. And after we put 2 blacker lotuses, it's almost halfway full. We need mana to power the Elven portal. Mana is used to power pretty much everything in Botania. And so the less of it we have to use, the better off. Now, the reason why the Terrasteel chickens break this is because Terrasteel is the worst thing in Botania to make. It requires, I believe it's an entire mana pool full of mana to make. Now, if you remember, we had the Endo Flame, and it made like next to nothing from a single blaze rod. We'd have to have a ton of Endo Flames to make a ton of mana. But some of them, like the Hydrangeas, these are passive generators that will suck up water in a 3x3 area and create mana from it. Comparable to the Endo Flame, but they decay and die after a little bit of time. Endo Flame will burn anything that it can, but will not burn lava buckets. And it can only hold fuel equivalent to that of 4 times a block of coal. If it burns longer than a block of coal, it won't be used to full efficiency. And yeah, you can automate it. Botania is all about automating. Fun fact, everything in Botania can be automated using only Botania and vanilla Minecraft. Every single thing in the mod, which is really cool. I've done a couple of things where I've made some of the more complex, like flower farms and whatnot, only using Botania and vanilla Minecraft, and it was kind of fun. Definitely interesting. So, with all that being said, let me verify real quick on the Terrasteel. It's gonna be here. So you have to make this whole big thing, and it's not that bad, but oh, it's a half a mana pool to create a single Terrasteel. Now you only need 1 Terrasteel to actually make the entirety of the portal to Alfheim, but it's still really, really, really nasty to do normally. It takes setup and time. We're not going to use either of that. So the only thing we need now is we need 2 Natura Pylons. Let's go ahead and get that first. And this is where we're going to be getting into some of the other things. So we need to make mana pylons, which require mana diamonds and mana steel, which I believe we have already. Do we not have mana diamonds? Okay, so that is a little bit annoying, but also not a big deal. We can take... Can we not get mana diamonds? Okay, so we're going to have to throw a mana diamond, or just a normal diamond, into a pool of mana. This is another way to craft things. You infuse it with mana, and then we're just going to duplicate a couple of these. Get a couple stacks. Honestly, we just need a stack. If we keep 1, so we need 2 of these, we should be fine. So then we need some Terrasteel nuggets, and 2 Eyes of Ender. And all of this stuff is really easy for us. And so the rest of the portal, there's only one other thing that requires it, and then that's the Elven Gateway Core. And that requires the last 3 pieces of the Terrasteel. So you only need 1 ingot of Terrasteel to make the portal. And once you make the portal, if you have enough mana to like maintain it, it is pretty powerful. Let's go ahead and throw 2 of those in there. That should be enough. We're going to need 8 more living wood blocks, so let's go ahead and get those cooking. and then glimmer, 3 glimmering living wood, which I believe is just living wood with a bit of glowstone. So we should be able to make that. So living wood, the glimmering, yeah, it's just 1 to 1. So we can put 1 of those in there. And that should be everything we need. Now, portal requires a substantial amount of mana deposit to open it. Okay, so furthermore, the link is it strong enough? Yep. Okay, so they've changed how the portal works from how it used to work. Basically, it used to be that the portal would take mana kind of constantly, and now it seems like it's only for when you throw things in. So if that's the case, that's actually really nice and easy. We don't need any of these. I probably should have kept some stone. Let's go grab some more stone, because we also don't need this anymore. And we're almost done with all this, so I can never have to work with Botania again, presumably. Okay, so let's grab some more stone. Not a bad idea to have a little bit. And let me see. Elven trade. So those do not have. We have Elementium. We can get plenty of that. These do not have EMC at all. So if we ever want to use any of them, we're going to have to use the portal. But that's not a big deal. Like I said, we can always make more mana. And the Black Lotuses, we've been getting from rewards, which is good enough. So we put these on top of the mana pools. The Glimmering Living Wood is in the corners. The normal living wood is everywhere else. And in the dead center at the bottom is our Elven Gateway core. So this is the portal. Obviously we can open that up a little bit. So yeah, obviously it's not super pretty looking, but I just wanted to hide it in the corner here because we had space. And all we have to do now is open it. So yeah, there is a bit of a cost just to open it, but it should never use mana to stay open. It used to, but I think that was changed. It's only when we use stuff. So we can't go through the portal or anything like that, but we can throw our book in there. And the book is pretty cheap. Where'd the book go? That's not a good sign. Is the book like down here or something? So it would be back here. You know what we'll do? Let's pop back up here. Let's grab our magnet. Item dislocator, whatever. I just want to make sure, yeah, these guys are not losing anything. Maybe the book went back through and it ate it. We can get another book. That's fine. Lexica, Botania. I don't see it in my inventory. Don't need that. Don't need that stuff right now. Actually, we need the mana pearls. That is the one thing we do need. So let's put that there, and for now, we'll put that there. Okay. So let's throw a book through. And now that we have a magnet, we get the better one. And we get a message from the elves. Don't really care. It's just plot and story. But they basically just added a bunch of things to our book, including rituals that I don't really want to get into. I don't know that we have to do that. If we do, we'll worry about that then. But things like generating flora. So the cake Murus is the cake one that I was talking about earlier. There is Shulk-Me-Nots, levitation, some new ones that I'm not super familiar with, but yeah, they're high level flowers. Now, all we need to do is throw some Pixie Dust, and it will use a little bit of mana. And I'm going to get a full stack of this, because why not? And yeah, it's not too terrible on mana. So really, once you open it, it's kind of whatever after that. So what we're going to do is kill all the Endermen that are around here, because I am sick of them. Have any of these gotten close to... I mean, we have some Aeternalis fuel blocks. That's not bad. But now we have a bunch of Pixie Dust. And at the very least, we can use 4 of them to get the Transmutation Table, which is a quest. Now, before we do anything with this thing, we're going to duplicate it. Because I'm not going to lose this thing. So we're going to get a loot chest. And it's pretty expensive. Anything, we can throw some ender pearls in there, why not? Epic bacon. That is not a bad thing. We're going to put 1 in here, just to have an extra. And let's go ahead and dump off most of the stuff. We don't need the Wand of the Forest anymore, or our bucket. How are we doing for nether stars on this side? So not too bad. This should get us close. And then, yeah, we're going to need a lot of EMC. So let's get like 2 stacks of diamonds. Epic bacon is not really useful, or not diamonds, emeralds. So let's see. I guess we could do more nether stars, because we do have pretty much infinite of those. Oh, really? Let's finish it off with a block or 2 of diamonds. So we need that much. Okay. So there is the Transmutation Table. So what does this thing do? Well, let's place it down somewhere. Let's just place it down right here. So this thing is awesome. If we burn a block of diamonds, it learns it. And now we can take a block of diamonds whenever we want. If we put things... Actually, I don't know that we even have to put burn things. So let's get sponges and iron. I think if we just put them over here, yeah, it learns it. So if we start burning things, we don't have to have sponges, and we can just make sponges from basically nothing. So that is kind of the point of this thing. You teach it a bunch of things, and then you get whatever you want that requires EMC. Now, the thing that we want to make this even better is called Tome of Knowledge. Yeah, the Tome of Knowledge. So this thing requires chaotic tier fusion crafting, a chaotic core, an Indus Pearl, and the Transmutation tablet, which is basically just the handheld version of this. And yeah, we're not too close to making that. We are going to need Gaia Spirit Ingots. Ugh. That shouldn't be too bad once we get to that point. But basically, yeah, this thing, this Tome of Knowledge, teaches you every transmutation recipe in the game. So anything that can be made with EMC, which I think, can we search? No. Anything that can be made with EMC can be made with the Transmutation tablet or table once you've learned everything. So that's kind of overpowered and broken, which is why it's so expensive. It should be a late game, last item made type of thing. So yeah, that is that. Now from here, we have some options. We can continue working with Project E. We could obviously make the dark matter armor, all the red matter stuff. We could make the Klein stars, which are basically the EMC batteries for Project E. Or we could just say, you know what, it's time to get on to the end game and start looking at the Infinity Catalyst. Now, this is not awful. It's not that bad, but it's definitely not that good. And we're going to need a lot of these things. But they are EMCable, which is really nice. because we're going to need to make infinity ingots. And those are also really expensive. We're going to need a lot of neutronium. Neutronium is the big bottleneck there, I think. And so, yeah, we're going to need to do some work for that. So maybe we start working on that. And maybe we finish up basically the rest of the quest lines, which just is making all the solar arrays. We'll continue working on that. Draconic Evolution. We do have some things that we can do there. We can make batteries and armor. But we might be working on Project E next episode. And then we need to just kind of figure out how we're going to get a really good dimension to get EMC. That's kind of the last thing we need to do. So that is going to be it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!